everyone, welcome to A Plus Biology class by Smerency. Today we are going to solve MCQ paper of October-November 2023. This is 2-2 paper. Let's start the paper. So the time is 45 minutes and the question number 1 is which process are characteristics of all living organisms? So if we look at the processes, respiration and digestion are the processes, excretion is the processes, but the respiration and excretion in all the organism and some of them the not digest the food, they just absorb the food. Their way of getting nutrition is absorptive. So C is the right answer. Using the binomial system, the Arctic fox is called Vulpes lagopus, and this first name is presenting the genus starting with the capital letter and the second name presenting the species. So the B is the right answer here, the genus and the species. Which features is found in all the viruses? If we look at the structure of any virus, it is made of two main features, that is the protein coat and the DNA. So two structural features, protein coat and the DNA of all the viruses. Which features are possessed by all plants? All plants have the cell wall, this is right, and chloroplast. Some of the plants don't have the chloroplast. B is the right answer. Why some of them don't have the chloroplast? Because there are some small parasitic plants which get food from the other plants. They are parasitic plants, they don't have the chloroplast. The length of bacteria in the diagram is 50 millimeter and the magnification is given and you have to find the actual. We know the formula, magnification is equal to image over actual and actual is equal to image over magnification. And you can see all the answers are given in micrometer. So we have to convert image size, which is 50 millimeter by into micrometer by multiplying with the 1000 and then divide by magnification. So B is the right answer. Here we have the diagram showing the water and the potato and also the concentrated sugar solution is here. It means the water is moving from here into the uh, sugar solution. So because water always move from high water potential to low water potential, so volume of water will decrease and the volume of sugar solution will increase because water is moving from here towards the sugar solution. Which statement about active transport is correct? Active transport is low concentration to high. This is right statement. It always transport into the cells. No, this is wrong statement because the water and any molecule can move in and out of the cell. It involves proteins. This is also the right. It uses energy. This is right. And 2 is the second one. B is the right answer. Which row identify the chemical elements in the proteins? And carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. They are present in the proteins. The table showing some large biological molecules and some small biological molecules, which row correctly pair the large with the small. And in the case of the first one, we know that glucose molecules combine together and then a molecule of cellulose is formed. They combine together and the cellulose is formed. The same way, the glycogen is actually the glucose combined together and they can also form the glycogen. So 1 and 3 statement is the right. And there is no connection between the oil and amino acids and there is no connection between the protein and the ethanol. Here we have a graph in which this is about investigation, rate of respiration which is increasing with the temperature. But explain the increase in rate of respiration between 10 to 30. If we look at 10 to 30, the enzyme denaturing, no, there are more frequent effective collisions. So this is the explanation. There is more frequent collision, more reaction. Because collision faster, rate of reaction will be faster. Few enzyme substrate, no, because more enzyme substrate complex will be there. And less kinetic energy, no, because when the temperature increase, there will be more kinetic energy. Here we have the diagram which is presenting the rate of photosynthesis varies with the light intensity, and the question is what is the limiting factor at the P. So P is that point where light is not the limiting factor because you are increasing the light and rate of reaction is constant. But when you are increasing the temperature, when you are increasing the carbon dioxide concentration, then rate of reaction is increasing. So limiting factor will be carbon dioxide, temperature, but not the light intensity. C is the right answer. The diagram shows the cells with group of bacteria around the edges, and you can see the bacteria is found around this plant cell, and the process that the cell caused the bacteria to form these groups. Actually, this is the chloroplast which is showing the photosynthesis, and then photosynthesis is the process due to which they are found around it so that they can get oxygen, because as a result of photosynthesis oxygen is released. Here we have shown the teeth structure. Let's label all. The D is molar, and C canine, and B incisors, and then A is premolar. So what is A? It's premolar. Here you have some medicines they made into tablets, and they are coated, the capsules or tablets are coated with the starch. And to break down that we need enzyme amylase, and then amylase break down the starch into reducing sugar, which is maltose. B is the right answer. Here we have the structure of the villi and the blood, which blood vessels you can see carry blood to the liver. So here this from the small intestine the absorption occur. Here you can see the lacteal in the center. Lacteal is linked to the lymphatic system, and D is that carry it through hepatic portal vein, carry it to the liver. So through the hepatic vein it is carried to the liver. From which part of the leaf does most water evaporated during transpiration? So when the transpiration occurs, if we look at the structure of the leaf, we have the palisade, we have the spongy mesophyll, and then we have the guard cells, and then we have the lower epidermis. So if we look at the structure, so the water from the xylem enter into the mesophyll cells, and from the wall of mesophyll cells, spongy mesophyll cell, the water vaporizes and these vapors diffuse out through stomata. So spongy mesophyll cell is that area where water changes state from liquid to gas and vapors are formed. Here we have the structure in a transverse section of the sunflower, and you can see this is a stem. So when you look at the stem, the phloem outside and xylem on the inner side. So Z is the xylem, and the cells are larger in size as compared to the phloem, and their function is transport of minerals and water. So here we have the blood, a drop of blood in which you can see the RBC, you can see the phagocyte, and you can see the lymphocyte. So P will be lymphocyte. What is the function of P? The function of B is antibodies production because all the lymphocytes work by the antibodies production. The diagram showing the blood vessel associated with the liver. Let's label the diagram. First, what is the Y? The blood vessel which is carrying blood from the aorta. That will be hepatic artery because it carry blood towards the liver, so that is hepatic artery. And then Z is the connection, that will be hepatic portal vein, and the X will be the hepatic vein. So these are the three vessels which are connecting with the liver. So X will be the hepatic vein, Y is the hepatic artery, and Z is hepatic portal vein. C is the right answer. So here we have, when pathogen enter the blood, the immune system uses different mechanism to destroy the pathogen. You can see the diagram. If we look at that, X is the antibody, X is antibody, and which have complementary to shape this antigen. So X is antibody and which is secreted by lymphocytes, and its complementary antigen is Y. What's the composition of expired air and inspired air? And expired air is, if we look, when we inhale, we inhale 0.04% carbon dioxide, and when we exhale, the carbon dioxide level is 4%. So CO2 level increase and oxygen decrease because oxygen here is 20% and oxygen here is 16%. The water vapors, here the water vapors vary, and here the water vapors are always more. So that's why uh, the water vapors, the carbon dioxide increase, oxygen decrease, and water vapors also decrease. So D is the right answer. During excretion, the receptors detect the changes in the blood and cause the breathing rate to increase. So that is detected by the brain cells, and the carbon dioxide level when rises, it is detected by the brain cells. These cells can convert glucose into alcohol and carbon dioxide. Why? Because it respires and aerobically, and then the products are alcohol and carbon dioxide. If we look at the reaction, the chemical equation of this process, that will be the glucose into alcohol and carbon dioxide. Which row shows the organ and the substance that it excretes? So if we say the bladder only store water, not excrete water. So kidney is the uh, organ through which excessive ions are excreted out. So lungs use oxygen and diffuse it, but carbon dioxide is the excretory waste of the lungs. Here we have the motor neuron, and all the neurons are shown. What is the here? If there is a receptor, then sensory neuron carry impulse towards the CNS, and relay neuron are present in the CNS, and motor neuron carry the impulses towards the effectors. So D will be the effectors or muscles. So motor neuron is the C. Which hormone can increase blood glucose concentration? So blood glucose concentration is increased when stored glycogen is converted into glucose. So this can be done by the adrenaline and glucagon. So adrenaline and glucagon both convert extra glycogen molecules into glucose. What is defined as a substance that is taken in the body modify the effects of the chemical reaction of the body. So this is the definition of the term drug. Drug always modify the chemical reactions of the body. What is the advantage of sexual reproduction in a population in a world? It reduced genetic diversity? No, because sexual reproduction always increased the genetic diversity. It decreased the ability to adapt? No, because adaptability also increased. It increased it increased the likelihood disease? No, diseases are also decreased. So then we have the C option. The C option is presenting that if there is any kind of reproductive barriers like mountain, river, and if one member of the species on this side, another member of the species on this side, so there will be reproductive isolation between them. Here we have the pollen grains from the plants that are placed into the stigma of the flower. So if this is a stigma of the flower and pollen grains from different plant and pollen grains from the same plant, if they are placed and then the process of fertilization and process of fusion of gametes by the pollen tube formation, and here is the ovule which is present here. So the time is shown on x-axis and the mean length of pollen tube on the y-axis, and you can see the data is shown from same plant and the data is shown from the different plant. So data is shown from the same plant, and suppose if this is a stamen and the pollens are transferred from here to here. So that is from the same plant and the other one will be from the different plant. So statement correct. Self-pollination does not lead to fertilization. Yes, it's not necessary that always it leads to fertilization. The difference in the growth of the two types of pollens is an adaptive to increase the variation. This is also right. The pollen tube of different plants grow faster. So we don't know that if we use any other different plant that maybe it grow faster or not. So we have no idea with the pollens from the different plant. So B is the right answer. Which hormones are released by placenta during pregnancy? During pregnancy from the placenta, estrogen and progesterone hormones are released, which was initially released by the ovary, and then uh, after the pregnancy, that when the placenta is formed here, and then this hormone is released by the placenta. Why are the cells in the pancreas the only body cells that produce insulin? Because we know that insulin productions is here from the iles of Langerhans of pancreas, because these have genes for insulin productions, because that gene is transcribed and insulin is produced as a result of transcription and translation of that protein. Which statement is correct? Mitosis always produce homozygous? No. Mitosis produce the cells that is genetically identical? Yes. Mitosis produce gametes? No. Meiosis produce gametes. Mitosis only produce haploid? No. Mitosis produce diploid. So B is the right answer. What's the source of genetic variation? Meiosis, random mating, random fertilization. All three are the sources of uh, genetic variations. Which rows showing the features of xerophytes? Xerophyte means those plants like you have seen the cactus plants which have the leaves turned into spines and which have the thick waxy cuticle like cactus, and this type of plant can adapt themselves to live in the uh, low water. So green color is not the adaptability. Leaves reduce into spine, yes, and thick cuticle, yes. C is the right answer. Presence of stomata, no, because stomata will cause the water loss. The diagram showing the food chain, which statement about the pyramid based on the food chain is correct? Tree into then the tree, and let's make the pyramid. Okay, so, according to this pyramid, we can draw a pyramid of biomass. The hawk would be the largest. No, The pyramid of biomass is always pyramid shape. It's never be the hawk at the with the largest bar. The largest bar is always tree. So this is a wrong option. Draw a pyramid of energy. The tree would have the largest bar. Yes, when you draw the pyramid of energy, the maximum energy is present only in the uh, tree because it captures the sunlight, convert light energy into chemical energy, and draw a pyramid of energy. The tree would be the smaller, wrong, and draw the pyramid of number. The hawk will be the largest, wrong. So B is the right answer. During the nitrogen cycle, which processes release? So we know that 78% nitrogen is present in the air, and this nitrogen is converted into soil nitrates by nitrogen fixing bacteria, and some of these nitrates are also converted by the process of denitrification back into the air. So that process is called denitrification. The red-green color blindness is a sex-linked characteristic, and they have shown the prediction made by the children of a woman who is colorblind. Female is a colorblind. So female colorblind means she is having this type of traits, and you are crossing it the man with the normal vision. So man with the normal vision will be like this. So what's the chances in their children? So if the boy get Y from the mother and X from the Y from the father and X from the mother, then their boy will be colorblind. So this is a chance that boy will be colorblind. Why their daughter will be normal? Because normal daughter carry one X small a from the mother and then X capital A from the father. That will be carrier but normal, not colorblind. Next question is, one method of conserving the fish stock is to have the minimum mesh size. This is right. That if you want to conserve the fish, how this mesh size mean if the mesh size of the net is larger, and then the small fish will not be trapped. But if the fish mesh size is smaller, all the small fish, starfish, small fish, lobster, crabs, they all will be trapped and they will die. So the whole of this mesh size matter because they allow the fish to escape and they allow the fish to trap. Here the last question, in which they have shown the process of genetic engineering, in which a gene from the human is taken and this gene is removed by using restriction enzymes. So restriction enzyme cut this DNA and the gene is separated, and here we have bacterial plasmid, and we also cut with the same restriction enzyme, and then we join here by ligase enzymes. So this recombinant plasmid entered into the bacteria and then multiplied, and then it start producing insulin. This process is called genetic engineering. Using the restriction enzyme 1 and 2 is the point where we use the restriction enzyme. Ligase is used at point 3, which is used for joining, and then multiplication of bacteria is done in the point 4. So the whole paper is done. I hope all the concepts are clear, and don't forget to subscribe.